Hey there guys, Music Fan here. How you guys doing? It's been a long while since I've made any of these kind of videos. Um, yeah, kind of a long while. But I felt compelled to offer my 2 cents per se to make a very short first impressions video. This is not a proper album review. This is more just me saying my initial thoughts of what do I think of this album. And the album that we're going to talk about a little bit today is the new Korn album, The Serenity of Suffering, was released just today, actually, the 21st. Again, this is just a short impressions video. I'm going to try to keep myself to be very concise and short and to the point. Anyway, the last album we heard of Korn, The Paradigm Shift. I wasn't too big of a fan over that. I don't think I made a review of that, but if I was, I would say that I wasn't too big of a fan of that. I thought, even though it was the first album to feature Brian Head Welch and it had some really good tracks on it, like Punishment Time, Love and Meth, and Never Never. It was a little too much into the melodious side of Korn. I mean, like in the recent albums before Head's return, especially with the Path of Totality, they took a much more experimental, melodious approach to their heavy metal, new metal sound, or whatever you want to call it. And right when Head came back, the paradigm shift. I mean, it was created the way it was, and even though it was cool to have Head back, I wasn't too keen on the album. Whereas with this one, The Serenity of Suffering, I have to say it's great. I really love it. It's a really awesome album. I think before this album release, there was some interviews from the band members saying that this album was going to be the heaviest album in a long time. I think some of them stressed that it may not be the old Korn, but it's going to be an even heavier Korn, than their recent output lately. And they're right. They really are right on this one. Like, this album really returns, maybe not so much to 94 and 95 era Korn, maybe not even follow the leader Korn, but this album is more a return to 1999 Korn. This sounds more like a sequel to Korn's 1999 album Issues more than it is the first three albums. And precisely the reason why is that this album, in comparison to the Paradigm Shift, is definitely a lot more heavier. There's a much more stronger emphasis on the guitars, especially with Head back in the fold. He brings a much more heavier emphasis to the music, to the guitars, along with Monkey. Jonathan Davis becomes very intense again in all these songs. I think of tracks like Insane, Rotting in Vain, Please Come For Me, A Different World, their collaboration with Slipknot's Corey Taylor. And I have to say, you know what? It's awesome. It really is awesome. I'm loving the very dark and the very intense choruses that has like the heavy down-tuned kind of like in-your-face guitar. I'm loving Jonathan Davis's just intense performances on this particular album. Again, I think of tracks like Rotting in Vain and Insane. I think of those tracks when I think of this album. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Ray, the drummer, does also a fantastic job here with the drumming. Fieldy, of course, we all know Fieldy. I can hear his bass a little more clearly with this particular album. You can hear all his bass playing, funk playing thing that he's always known for. Excuse me. And yeah, this album is really awesome. This is cool. This is a really cool Korn album. It's an album that up until a point with Korn, and I was never really that big into. And even though I still don't count myself as an uber Korn fan, I still really admire this album, this direction that Korn is going to. They're going as if they're really going back to that Issues era and updating it just a little bit in terms of playability, in terms of technicality, with Head back in the band, and really a return to that heaviness. This is not a repeat of 1994 Korn. This is not 1995 Korn. This is not Life is Peachy. This is not maybe Follow the Leader a little bit, or at least it's not any of those albums in a fuller sense. This album is more of a little bits and pieces from those albums, but put into Issues, and you get the Serenity of Suffering, So yeah, I'm really enjoying this album, and I've only heard it once so far, and I'm enjoying it a lot, really. Like, I mean, the intensity of the choruses are just heavy. The syncopation between Head and Monkey, those like a little bit, but it's still there. And yeah, that's all I can say about this album. I mean, if I were to give it, well, this is not a proper review, so I don't want to necessarily give it away, but it's definitely higher than a 3. That's for sure. It's definitely higher than a 3. That's a good mark. Yeah, I mean, these are just a short video that I have for Korn's The Serenity of Suffering. A more proper review of this album track by track will come maybe in the next couple of days, probably, if I'm given time. Maybe next weekend, but we'll see. Anyways, I miss doing this, so I want to try to keep doing these as much as I can. Anyway, thoughts. Leave your thoughts on the comment section down below. Tell me what you think. This has been a very short first impressions video of Korn's The Serenity of Suffering. And yeah, take care. Korn, The Serenity of Suffering. See you guys later. Bye.